And we are back, we are back, we are back. And he's AKA Mama G here, co-creator, as I always say, along with the prime creator of Fiercely Fulfilled Feminine, where I help starseeds to heal sexual trauma, reclaim their power, and experience true fulfillment through what I call the sacred sexuality reclamation method. Now, today, we're going to talk about the ultimate betrayal and how you can begin to reconcile how sexual trauma has shown up in your body. You see, you crave connection. You're just not sure where to start with that connection. And you may have guessed already, yeah, reconnecting to your body. So I'm going to share what betrayal actually is, all the different ways it can show up. I'm going to share where it may have first shown up in your life in case you're not really sure. You may be really sure where it has shown up, what the antidote for that is, and then share a very powerful tool, simple, powerful, but yet very effective tool, something I have not shared lately or recently that can really help with this reconciliation process, allow you to begin to reconnect to your body in the most beautifully powerful way, and explain why you may need to reconnect and why that's a great thing to reconnect. And then I'm going to, along with that technique, I'm going to add another element. Is something else that you can do that can kind of just enhance and amplify the technique that I'm going to share with you today. So stay with me. This is juicy. As I said, I've got my own experience. It's how others show up with me and what they share. And then, of course, divine wisdom, which drops in and inspires me as to exactly how to share this and what kind of tool or technique may best benefit you on this part of your journey. Okay, so first of all, I call it the ultimate betrayal. You see, there's chances are, especially if you have experienced sexual trauma or indirect sexual trauma, for example, if somebody is body shamed or whatever that is, I call that indirect sexual trauma, is you've probably been potentially cheated on or you've been betrayed in different ways. Life may feel like it's betrayed you. Money may feel like it's betrayed you, your body. So ultimately, it's your body. You feel as though your body has betrayed you, and you may be conscious of this or not. Either way, let's get some reconciliation going here, okay? First of all, what is betrayal? Betrayal is a lack of trust. It's when somebody has destroyed your trust. You depended on somebody to support you and they didn't. You trusted somebody and they did something or said something that took that trust away. And all of a sudden you began to feel unsafe and you didn't have this level of security that you believed you should have had. And it could have been a caregiver directly. It could have been a caregiver who was in denial, who wasn't there to protect you, who for some reason went out, maybe they had their own challenges, whatever it was, neglect, whatever, however it showed up, you were not taken care of. And that trust was taken away. And your sense of safety was taken away. And your ability to feel supported and to be able to depend on somebody, especially your caregiver or caregivers, was taken away. And that is what betrayal is. And so if you have experienced any type of trauma, sexual trauma, physical trauma, neglect, abuse, emotional abuse, spiritual abuse, mental abuse, it's all there. There's so many different ways that you can be betrayed. Okay? So that betrayal said, okay, well, I can't really trust life. If you can't trust your caregivers, you're basically being told on some level, you may have received, your body may have received the message, and you may have received the message that you just can't trust life. Because your caregivers are supposed to mimic that connection with the source of creation. So when that is not there, that's a deep wound of betrayal, rejection, abandonment, a lack of feeling safe and secure in your body and your vessel in this life experience separate. Okay. So, like I said, physical, sexual neglect, all of that. And eventually, your body may appear as if it's starting to betray you. Okay. We just talked about how when it may first show up. I'm sure you're very clear about that. So, what is the antidote to betrayal? The antidote is ultimately connection. And yet, where do you begin that reconnection? It's not with a partner, a spouse, a loved one. It's not even with your twin flame if you have one. It's not with your best friend, your mom, your dad. I know this is the mother wound, the father wound. We'll talk more about all of that. You probably, again, you know where I'm going with this. That connection, I believe, needs to begin between you as the faithful servant or the faithful master and your body. Because it's very common, especially with sexual betrayal, sexual trauma, that there is a disassociation. So literally, that's why a lot of people who experience sexual trauma experience neck pain. There's a literal disconnect. And most people who have experienced sexual trauma end up all in their head. And it's usually not good stuff, negative self-talk, negative messages. It's all up here, thoughts, ruminations, thoughts that just keep going, that just don't seem to stop. Thoughts of unworthiness, thoughts of struggle, thoughts of just wanting to control life so that you can feel safe. And so that's where the anxiety comes in. Again, I'm going to get to how it can show up. So there's a disconnect. And when you lose touch with your body, you lose touch with life in the physical dimensional reality, because you're meant to have this body, and you have this body for a reason. The head and the neck are connected to the body. It's all one. It's an ecosystem. We need it all. We need it all. Okay. So let's see. The antidote is connection, knowing you can trust others. Knowing that you are supported, knowing that you can depend on others to get your needs taken care of. And essentially, ultimately, I know you have to learn to depend on yourself first, and then you build that sense of safety. You kind of stabilize in a greater and greater way the nervous system as you show up and others show up with deeper connection and in a way that you can trust. Okay. So essentially, it's connection. Everybody craves connection. Okay. So, why the disconnect with the body? Because it has become associated with pain. Imagine you're connecting with a way, or caregivers are rather connecting or not connecting with you, depending on how it showed up for you, and that's supposed to represent source, the source of your creation, God, the divine, the great goddess of the universe, and you're not getting that connection and you're not feeling that loving energy, and you're getting the absolute opposite, that is going to create, like I said, a disconnect from the body. And because connection for you likely has been associated with harm, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual harm. Okay, so you crave connection, yet you fear it. So how can this show up? Hypervigilance, chronic stress, ultimately contraction. The opposite of creation and expansion is contraction. Your body tightens up, there's anxiety, it's seeking to protect itself because you don't feel safe. It's the opposite of expansion, contracted heart, and that can show up in frequent colds, chest pain, heart conditions. So I'm going to just go all in it. A body in stress is always going to feel disease. It's going to feel mental health challenges, spiritual existentialism, whatever it might be, okay? Depression. The neck is a common one especially because the neck holds carried shame. If you were abused, because you're here and you've experienced trauma, that person was out of touch with their own body, their own emotions. So without even realizing it on a conscious level, they projected their pain and their shame onto you. Carried shame in particular is in the neck. So you may have some neck pain. Very likely you've experienced neck pain. Headaches, okay? Sinus congestion. Sinus congestion is literally built up tears from trapped emotions that are looking to be expressed. Headaches obviously makes a lot of sense is because of all those thoughts and just trying to wrap your head around what happened, what is happening, and why does there seem to be this ongoing struggle. So I'll just name a few here because there are so many. Back pain, lower back pain in particular is feeling a lack of support. So that makes a lot of sense that would show up again and again and again. Digestive issues seems to be, because if those emotions aren't digested, processed, that trauma is not processed, there's likely to be some type of digestive issue, whether it's chronic or comes back and forth. Obviously the chest, unresolved grief. If you haven't been loved in the way that you needed to, you weren't nurtured, this event wasn't processed, those series of events were not properly processed, your nervous system is probably functioning at a heightened level. So there's a heightened level of cortisol, stress hormones, and then the baseline probably doesn't necessarily go back to a normal baseline. So it's chronic stress, which, as I've said, creates disease. And it happens on every level: mental, spiritually, emotionally, physically. Weight gain is a biggie. Weight gain or a body shaming or issue like, what is it? I want to say either bulimic or anorexic tendencies. Okay. I fit all of that. Okay. Which is a very common echo of sexual trauma. And that's about the weight gain in particular is about protection. Okay. Of course, bulimia and anorexia is about just self-shame and a lack of self-love. We all know that. Okay. Injuries to the spine. The spine is what the central channel of life force energy travels through the spine. And so if that is blocked or hindered in any way, it's going to show up as a spinal injury. If there's a lack of connection between the base of the spine and, the coccyx, let's say that, and then the base of the spine into the brain, okay, because you have that disconnect, you can experience spinal injuries. Those spinal injuries aren't random. They all have something to do with unresolved trauma that is going to show up in all these different ways in your reality, in your experience, in your body, in your injuries. Something as simple as stubbing your toe. Everything has a purpose and everything is a signal and everything is a message. Okay? So the challenge with this is that if you're anything like I was, like years ago, I was just like, I wasn't aware of it on a conscious level. Yet I was angry at my body. I felt resentful because I was in so much pain. I couldn't walk at one point. My hips ached so much. You name it, I've experienced all those symptoms that I've just mentioned and more. There are many, many more. And the heaviness and the fatigue and the sense of overwhelm and anxiety and depression, I started to resent my body and my experience because it just felt like such a struggle. Okay. So I didn't realize it. Now, what do we do about it? Okay. Well, first of all, you got to reconnect. That's the first point of connection or reconnection is with your body. Okay. So let's see. Okay. What have I written here? Oh, by the way, this includes connection to all of life, not just once you start to begin to reconnect to your body, you start to reconnect to all of life in more expansive ways because it allows you to also connect with a greater sense of confidence and worthiness and connecting to money, to others, friendship, life, opportunities, expansion, more abundance, more blessings, more prosperity. Okay. All of it. It really does. And that's, yeah. Okay. So, first thing, this is what I've got. Number one, if you choose, I do something called the body reconnect. Not going to share that with you right now because I've shared it before. tap into your body. Okay, just tap in. What are you feeling? Where are you feeling it? Where's the greatest, discomfort? And just feel that sensation, honor it, give it the attention that it needs and deserves, and then see if you can take it a step further and come up with an emotion that may be connected to this bodily sensation. Okay. And sit with that as long as you can. And if it stimulates an emotional release, great. If not, that's okay too. It's just beginning to feel more and more present with yourself. And I would recommend that before you tap in is to do some type of grounding activity, such as humming or taking a few deep breaths, tapping. Okay, so here's what I got for you today. Here's the technique that I'm going to suggest that you can choose to use or not. Okay, this is something I recommended recently to somebody. Is this: write a letter of apology to your body. Not to the abuser, not to, maybe you've done that, maybe you haven't, because that's also something you could do. Write a letter of apology to your body. Why? Because your body has been doing what it feels it needs to do to hang on to those trapped emotions, to hang on to those heavy emotions, those painful, uncomfortable emotions that you have not yet wanted to, because you weren't ready to feel or experience. So your body has taken that on, and it's created an energetic heaviness, because when those emotions become trapped, the body is not able to connect with other aspects of the body. You see, every single cell, every tissue, every organ, every body part has its own sentience, has its own consciousness. And it is the nerves from the brain through the spine, throughout this whole neural network, throughout your entire body, that is there to help communicate with different parts of the body. And yet, if there are painful emotions that are trapped in the body that become like energetic blocks that are blocking that flow, that messaging becomes disrupted. It's like a bad Wi-Fi signal that's cutting in and out. And that's why your body has not been able to operate optimally. Be okay with yourself. Don't shame yourself. Okay. Because now that you have this awareness, say, okay, maybe I have been angry and resentful. So if you choose, apologize to your body. Let your body know that you are seeking reconciliation. Okay. Here's some of what you can say. I wrote this down. First of all, you can say, gee, I realize, dear, beautiful body of mine, however you want to intro that. I realize that you have been here the whole time, and you have protected me in a way that I haven't readily recognized. You've kept me alive. You have held on to all these heavy emotions that I was not yet ready to feel. That's some heavy lifting. Wow. And you have been sending signals to me. You've been talking to me. And I've been paying attention, but not really in a way that you needed. You see, you were screaming for attention, and the same way I might have been at one time, and was ignored. And perhaps in some way, not only did I ignore you, but I got frustrated with you. And so for that, I apologize. But now I know better. Now that I have the awareness, I'm going to be sure to really pay attention to you and to listen to you and to honor you. You see, I am now ready to feel these painful emotions. I'm ready for you to release these emotions. Because if you're showing up here now in this way and I'm here, then I'm guessing you're ready to do it too. And we can do it as a team, so that as a team, you can begin to function optimally, because we all benefit in that way. So I'm here now and I'm listening. I miss you so much in your optimal state of being. I am ready, like I said, to feel more deeply those painful emotions that I have been avoiding. Let's do this as a team. And then you can recite the Ho'oponopono prayer, which is a Hawaiian prayer, where it literally is about you taking full responsibility. And it's so powerful, the frequency of the words where you're simply, it's as simple as this. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And you can repeat that silently out loud as many times as you want. You can write that in the letter. You can play a little, uplifting music while you do it. I know I have a song on one of my playlists. It's actually the Ho'oponopono prayer, but it's a beautiful, beautiful version of it. Very high vibe. While you're writing the letter, you can light a candle if you like, just to make it more of a ritual. With it kind of just amplifies the intention. And then sign it. Lovingly yours, in deep appreciation, with deep respect and reverence, however you decide, sign it. Now, here's the deal. No chicken scratch. Seriously, this is about intention. And if you truly want to treat your body in the way that you would like to be treated, in the way that you would have liked to have been treated, okay, is treat your body that way. So make it nice. Doesn't have to be on this fancy dancy stationery unless you have, but really take the time to write it out, be intentional, be thoughtful about the process, and spend time with this. And like I said, you want to do it in a space where you're comfortable, you're relaxed, it's calm. Maybe you have a little sanctuary, a corner or a spot or a room even in your home. Like I said, you could light a candle, put on some gentle, soft music while you're doing it, and make it really intentional. Here's the final step with the letter. And then I'm going to share a way you can even amplify this technique is to read it out loud to yourself, but then read it as if you're reading it to your body. There's something about voicing what you've written as far as, and that helps you to re-access the power of your voice. And if you've watched that video on the power of the throat chakra and healing sexual trauma, you know that the powerful connection between the sacral and the throat chakra. Okay. Now, here's one more thing that you can choose to do or not is close your eyes, put the letter down, or you can just put it on your lap. You can hold it to your chest if you want. Left hand, feminine side over the heart, and then the right hand over your heart chakra. Close your eyes, take a few breaths, and then put your attention onto your heart chakra. And imagine this beautiful, vibrant, radiant, emerald green energy just slowly beginning to build in your heart, in the area of your heart chakra, and a pulsate. Oh, this beautiful, loving energy, compassionate energy, energy of forgiveness, reconciliation, self-acceptance, renewal, moving forward. And then take that energy and send it anywhere in your body where you may have been feeling or are feeling any level of discomfort or pain. Just send it with the most loving intention, the most nurturing intention, the most devoted intention, and send it to those ears. And just imagine that healing energy, wherever it might be, just going to all those, I don't know, I'm just to all those different areas, wherever they may be, and just sending that healing energy. And sit there with that as long as you want. And then when you're ready, just open your eyes and just see and tap in, check in. How do you feel? How are you? You should notice some kind of a difference, okay? And then keep that letter somewhere special for as long as you feel like you need to. And that's it. That's it. That's it. Recognizing that your body has been here for you, and you are ready now to release those trapped emotions, which means you are ready for the body to begin to function more optimally, which means you're going to feel lighter mentally, physically, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Now, if you like that and you'd like to learn more about how to more deeply reconnect to your body, in the most optimal, beneficial way. I've got a very powerful free 5-day masterclass coming up next month, beginning on the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. How beautiful is that? It's called Awaken the Goddess Within, tapping into sacral energy. And if you've listened to anything that I've shared, your life force energy is sexual energy. And your sacral, that whole center, the pelvic floor, that's where your ovaries are, your uterus. If you're a woman, that's where all your female reproductive organs are. If you're a man, that is where your procreative energy is. That's where connection is. That's where you find connection, creativity, fun, playfulness, feeling lighthearted, being connected to the source of your vitality. And when you are connected to vitality, you feel more alive, you feel more light, you feel happier, you feel like you want to have fun, like you want to dance, you feel sexier, you feel more sensual. I know from personal experience. So let's bring that back alive for you. Link is in that description. Always a like, a comment, a share. So heartily appreciate. I hope this helps. You have a beautiful day, and I look forward to connecting more soon. That's it. Connection. Much love. Where am I? Let me connect. Woo!